Definitely. Our next speaker we have today, her name is Mariben Andersen. She's a technical manager, environmental at Michael Baker International, president of NAAAP. That's three A's, Tampa chapter. As an environmental scientist for more than 38 years, Mariben Andersen has a BS in biology major and ecology from the University of the Philippines. She is a FAA qualified airport wildlife biologist and a FAA and FHWA and certified in EPA scientist. Mariben specialized in environmental compliance and environmental permitting, including water quality, protected species, and wetland studies. She is known for her interactive training workshop. And Mariben, thank you so much for being here. Keep going.
Hi, everyone. So I hope you can hear me. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share my story. So I am going to share my screen, and I'm not quite sure how to do that. So give me 1 second. Uh-oh, the host disabled participant screen sharing. Booker, I need to share my screen because I have slides.
Yeah, you have the hosting ability, Mariben.
All right. Share screen.
Yeah.
Is this host
yeah,
disabled participant screen sharing? Like I don't understand why it's doing that. It says host disabled participant screening. So which is unfortunate because the slides will really help my presentation.
Okay, now you should have it. I just clicked it again.
Thank you. Now I have it.
Okay.
All right, can y'all see that?
We can.
All right. So I thought that the best way to tell you how to empower women is to share with you my story. Like most babies, we come out kicking and screaming, basically saying to the world that we are here. When I was born, I had a little bit more of a challenge. Okay, now it won't go. Did it show the next slide by any chance? I'm having technical difficulty. All right, so I was born in the 60s, born in Manila, Philippines. I was premature breech and a blue baby, and I had undeveloped lungs. So it was a triple whammy to begin with. So I had to stay at the nursery. So my life began as a challenge from a start. But as we say, through adversity comes opportunities. I had health issues from the beginning. So we didn't come, my parents were a middle-class family. So I had somebody with me all the time because I had cardiac issues and lung issues from the get-go. So I had basically a health nanny until I was 13. So I grew up in a very happy and loving family. Although I was fragile, I still had to be disciplined. We were allowed an hour playtime, had to be at dinner time. Grew up in Manila, very traditional. I had 24 cousins. There were 3 girls. and 24 cousins. So I grew up like a boy. So although I was sickly, I was very much loved. Everybody looked after me. Like I coughed and everybody goes like, are you okay? So although I was sickly, I was stubborn. I liked to do what the other kids did, and they let me. So my very, very first lesson in life was I was 7. I got my first scooter, and the old scooters had a screw that connects the front wheel to the rear wheel. And I didn't check it. You're supposed to check it before you use it, and went down the street, downhill, crashed. Although that picture is like a generic picture, I scraped my whole right leg. So when my father was tending to me, the first question he asked was, are you okay? And I said, I'm okay. I think I'm more embarrassed than anything. And then secondly, she asked, what do you think you did wrong? And between sobs, I said, well, I should have checked, the bolt to make sure that the bottom part of the thingy, was intact. He goes, remember that. And I said, and who's to blame for it? And I looked at him and I said, well, me. So he said, remember that, because in life, you're accountable. You're the only one responsible for what you do. And for everything that you do, there are consequences. Now think about it. I was 7 years old. Like, these are life lessons, and obviously it stuck with me. They used to tease us when I was a kid that whatever you do, it's you bring your horns and your tail with it, meaning to say it's you, myself, and I. You're responsible for everything that you do. So that was the very, very earliest lesson in life. And because I had respiratory issues and cardiac issues, I always had to be responsible. I had to watch what I had to do. I can't overexert myself or ended up in the hospital. So by the time I was in high school, I went to college. I had grown my horns and I wanted to stretch my wings. So I enrolled myself away from the house. It was an hour and a half away from home. I wanted to live on my own, and my parents couldn't do anything about it because I enrolled myself. And because I wanted to challenge myself. So after 5 years of college, it was a double program, double course with pre-med. I had a career choice to be a biologist or a doctor, because since I was 6, I was groomed to be a doctor because my mom had heart disease. And so I wanted to be like her doctor so I can make sure that she lived a long life. These are the things that influence us as we grow up. First, it was family, and of course, next in the environment. As we go to college, our peers influences a little bit more. And so I had a fork in the road. On my freshman proper med, I got sick with bronchopneumonia. I was 121 pounds when I left school and went home. And 3 weeks later, I came back to school. I was 85 pounds. There was no way I could make up what I missed. So I decided that I was going to take a leave of absence and work as a biologist. That was my first fork on the road. Not to mention, I didn't want to get stuck in a hospital or a clinic. I'd rather be out swimming and, looking at things in the forest and exploring. So although my parents were very, very disappointed, I was raised to think you can do anything as long as you believe in yourself and as long as you work hard. You have to put the work in, and you have to see where you're going. You have to visualize what is it that you want to be. I am not your typical Asian that, you have to keep quiet. You have to be like, keep your head down. No, my father was a lawyer. And so anytime I had to ask for something, I had to tell him why I deserved it. So that meant being outspoken. And as you can see, I am very outspoken. So in my 20s, my parents said, you're coming to the States. You've been there long enough. You're the last one in the family who hasn't migrated, or we're going to disown you. I was in my 20s. I have been independent. I've been traveling for work. And so I had to start all over again. I moved here in the 1980s. That was 38 years ago. And I had to start over. And American culture was a culture shock because Asian culture is very informal. We're a very close-knit community, and I lost confidence. Not to mention I was discriminated. I mean, I was in the parking lot and it was windy, so my car door blew open and it kind of hit this next car. And this guy said, like, go back to your country. That's what he said. And just like, I didn't do anything, right? I worked for Pinellas County Mosquito Control, and it was so nice because my coworkers looked after me. We'd go places, conferences, and they would never leave me alone because of the color of my skin. I was targeted. So they would never let me go anywhere alone. Always someone was, next to me. And that was because that was in the 80s, and that's just what the climate was. But I didn't look at it as a disadvantage because my coworkers looked after me, so I felt loved. It's like my work family. So although it is how you take things, how you look at it, whether it's a half glass full or a half glass empty. And I'm definitely a half glass full kind of person. So you turn it into an opportunity. So, like I said, your parents influence you a lot. So my mom was big into community and giving back. She was a business entrepreneur. And after she retired, she gave back to the community. She taught seniors, Filipino seniors in California and San Diego to read and write, to apply for Social Security. And for that, she received a community service award from the mayor of Chula Vista. She always believed in charity and helping others. And she passed that on to me, which is why, I am the president of NAT, but I'm also the Southern region for Michael Baker, DEI lead. And I believe in helping our young Asians to become leaders. I'm also a mentor, and I teach my kids manners, and kindness. Kindness. I'm a big proponent of being kind. So there are hard lessons in my life, such as in part of my career, I was ostracized, heckled, isolated, because I'm a woman, and because I'm hardworking, and because I'm Asian. And as they say, if it's too hot in the kitchen and you're a cook, you either get out or you figure things out. Well, I decided to get out. And I saw that as an opportunity. To me, in my career, it was like, okay, I worked in county government, and county government is like high school. So I went to college, worked for a consulting firm. And so now my playground is, 3-4 counties. Then I worked for another consulting firm, and now is the whole United States and internationally. And that is Michael Baker. I've been with them for 18 years. I just had my 18-year anniversary. So what really matters is what you do moving forward. You will make mistakes, and it's okay. You have to forgive yourself. The hardest lesson that I had to learn is it's better to be kind than to be right. As an Asian American woman with a strong personality and working in the engineering science field, who's very technical, we have to be specific, detailed, and being humble is not something that goes along with being technically competent, and it's not an easy thing to do. But if you think about it, if I am kind, I would rather be kind than right. That means that if somebody asks me for something that I had sent them twice before, I send it the third time instead of saying, I sent it to you already. Just send it again. And that is being professional, but being kind. And I know it's a very simple example. I also believe in honesty. I am an honest, I will tell my clients if I can do the job, or if I can't do the job, or if I can keep a promise. I am very upfront. sometimes they think that it's rude. American culture is different. You know, sometimes they're sensitive, it's not. In the Asian culture, when we try to help people, we are a little bit more forward. But in the American culture, it's deemed as intrusive. And it took me my whole entire life to understand that dynamic. Strength, so you have to be strong. Like I told you, I believe in being vocal. I am not one to cower. And I do stand for others, especially for my family and loved ones. Now, what I'm sharing with you are the lessons that I learned, but also they're the influence of the four most influential people in my life. My mentors, my parents, you know, my mother and my father, and of course my husband and my family. So to me, problems are not stop signs, they're guidelines, they're opportunities. When there is a problem, if there is a problem, there is always a solution. It's just a matter of time. In my line of work, I am a problem solver. That is what I do. I solve my clients' problems. I give them the outs. I give them the options of how to figure out in the environmental field how to build their projects. But because I am a scientist first, when it comes to my profession, I have to balance development with protecting the environment. We all like to sleep at night, so I'm a very conscientious biologist. So my family taught me unconditional love, that being married, I've been successfully and happily married for 38 years, is a choice. My husband has always been supportive. He's never wavered when it comes to supporting me in my career or whatever decisions I make. You know, as a matter of fact, today we are at the Tampa Asian American Pacific Heritage Festival. He set up the tent with me. He stayed with me the whole festival, and I left him. He's breaking down the tent because it stopped at like 2, and I had to, or at 2 o'clock, and I had to leave before 2 because I had to get ready for this presentation. I am grateful for all the blessings that I have. When things are not going right for you, you need to go look at what you have and what God has blessed you. In my old age, I've found peace and happiness. And unconditional love is loving without asking in return. I love my children, and they know I love them unconditionally. That if they falter, it is what they do moving forward that matters. That I will forgive them. That, you know, in the beginning, I blamed myself, you know, when it's hard because you want to protect them. But then you learn through time that they choose their lives, and what you need to do is just be there for them and love them. So sometimes I'm a kitten, but sometimes I'm a lion. It's called the carrot and the stick. Mindset is what separates the best from the rest. And it's the balance of being a kitten or a lion that makes you, you know, figure out what to do. You have to be resilient in these times. And last but not the least is you have to change your vision to inspire yourself. You have to inspire others. I believe in uplifting others, whether you're a woman or a man. And I believe in being supportive of others and sharing what I know. So I guess I finished really early, huh? Do you have any questions, or we're saving the questions for later?
Well, thank you, Mariben. That was very enlightening, and I really appreciate all that you said. And I definitely took down a lot of notes from some of the things that you went through, so I know that I can do it as well. Thank you so much.